Sawa. Sawa. One, two, mic test. Mic test. Well, our dear viewers, that was a report prepared by Murimi Mwangi, a parliamentary media relations officer, in regard to the condolence messages following the death of Malava Member of Parliament Malulu Jendi, who passed away yesterday at Aga Khan Hospital while receiving treatment. The late Honorable Jendi has been celebrated as a trailblazer in the fight for the education sector, as well as a passionate defender of reforms in the sugar sector, among others in the spheres of human interest. And as members of parliament and leaders across the nation continue sending their condolence messages to the family of Honorable Malulu Jendi, this afternoon the National Assembly is set to have its sittings, where the House is set to consider a number of businesses. Among them is the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate National Assembly Bills number 2 of the year 2025 by the leader of the majority party. The County Government's Additional Allocations Bill is a bill that is set to be introduced on the floor of the House for the first time this afternoon. And this bill is an act of parliament that seeks to provide for the additional allocations to the county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year, and that is the responsibilities of the national government as well as the county governments person to such allocation for the connected purposes as indicated in the county government's additional allocation bill, a bill from the National Assembly, bill number 2 of the year 2025. After the reading of the county government's additional allocation bill, the House will then move to consider the Equalization Fund Administration Bill. This is Senate Bills number 14 of the year 2023 by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Finance and National Planning. The bill is currently at the second stage or second reading, if you may like, and we expect members of the National Assembly this afternoon to give their contributions to the proposals in the Equalization Fund Administration Bill, a bill originating from the Senate. Equally lined up for debate is the Political Parties Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 35 of the year 2022 by the Vice Chairperson, Procedure and House Rules Committee, a bill yet again at the second reading. And after that, the House will then consider the Insurance Professionals Bill, National Assembly Bills number 13 of the year 2024 by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Matters Finance and National Planning. This afternoon, the House will, among others, equally consider a number of bills lined up for consideration in this afternoon's order paper, and being an order paper with a lot of bills for consideration, the other is a cultural the Culture Bill, National Assembly Bills number 12 of the year 2024 by the leader of the majority party, again at the second reading, and the Fisheries Management and Development Bill, National Assembly Bills number 29 of the year 2023. The Public Finance Management Amendment Bill number 2, National Assembly Bills number 26 of the year 2024, a bill by the leader of the majority party, is equally lined up for consideration this afternoon. Remember, you can follow up on this live broadcast brought to you by KBC in partnership with PBU, courtesy of our YouTube channels, that is KBC Channel 1, as well as on Parliament of Kenya. Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast as the Speaker of the National Assembly is already in the chamber, ready to preside over the
this application so that it will take it away from me.
Sergeant, ring the quorum bell.
You're live, Gladys.
The quorum bell at the National Assembly is being rung for a few minutes as directed by the Speaker of the House, to give members a few minutes to get into the chamber this afternoon. And as you wait for a signal to ascertain if indeed the numbers have been attained, allow me to take you through the order paper this afternoon.
Influenced by trade and social relations with the Taveta people. That some Pare traders and small groups settled in Taveta to engage in commerce, particularly in iron smelting, salt trade and agriculture. In the early 1900s, the Pare people increasingly migrated to Taveta region due to conflicts in the Kilimanjaro region. That the expansion of long-distance trade in ivory and iron saw more Pare traders and skilled blacksmiths moving to Taveta, where they found welcoming environment in the 19th century. That the Pare people have been part of the social fabric of Taveta constituency since time immemorial, contributing significantly to the local and national economies. That in recent years, Kenya has made important strides in efforts to resolve statelessness by recognizing as citizens thousands of other previously stateless people, including those from Makonde and Shona communities and others of Indian descent. That therefore the recognition of Pare people would allow the community to be fully integrated into country's legal framework in consistency with national values and governance principles that prioritize inclusivity, equality, and diversity. That the efforts to have this matter addressed by relevant authorities have been futile, and that the matter presented in this petition is not pending before any court of law or any constitutional or legal body. Therefore, your humble petitioners pray that the National Assembly, through the Public Petitions Committee, to one, inquire into the matter with a view of securing urgent recognition of the Pare people of Kenya as a tribe of the Republic of Kenya. To make any other recommendations or actions it deems fit in addressing plight of the petitioners, and your petitioners will ever pray. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bwire. Yes, Honorable Mbaya.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to make some remarks and comments on the petition. First, to support the efforts of the Honorable Bwire, a young and very vibrant MP from Taveta, on the aspect of recognizing the Pare people as Kenyans. The Pare, Honorable Speaker, like the Makonde and the Wanyasa from Malawi and the Pemba have been Kenyans. A lot of them, when they came during the construction of the railway and the sisal farms, found Kenya their home. Their great-grandfathers were here. Children have been born and issues have come out of those relationships, those marriages of those Pemba, of those Pare. But today, the Pare have not been recognized. And we have communities like the Rundi who are here, okay, and the Rwandans who are here. They are Kenyans by birth, but they have not been recognized as Kenyans. The 12th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, did us very proud because through a parliamentary process, the Pemba were recognized. And I would like to request the committee, the Petitions Committee, to use this opportunity to bring honor to the 13th Parliament by ensuring that this community, the Pare people that live in Taveta and have lived there continuously, to ensure that they become Kenyans and they're recognized and given citizenship. So, Honorable Speaker, and the committee that will be assigned this petition, I will request them to hasten and as fast as possible ensure that the Pare are recognized as Kenyans. But Honorable Speaker, I also wish to bring an amendment to the Citizenship Act so that those other communities become very automatic. They don't have to be struggled to be Kenyans, and yet they have continued to be Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, as you assign the committee, please give them the assignment that they hasten so that the Pare who are here in this country become Kenyans. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I'll commit the petition to the Committee on Public Petitions to report back in 60 days. And Owen Bayer, as a leader in the House, yes, you should, with your colleagues, find a framework of getting people like the Pare. If we recognize our compatriots, the Indian community, as a tribe in Kenya, I don't see why we shouldn't recognize the Pare and any other communities of African descent that are here, so that we can be able to avoid the statelessness of people in this country. At least we have done very well with the Pemba, with the Makonde, with the Nubians, with the Indians. So the progress is good, but you can, on your own motion, also engage this kind of thing.
I brought amendments to the Citizenship Act, yes, which is, I think, before you, but before the Committee of Security, so that we can have a framework to ensure that all those Kenyans that are here can be recognized as Kenyans.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next. Okay. Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. These very important papers, Honorable Speaker, because they're part of the budget cycle. 1, supplementary estimates 2 for the year 2024-2025 from the National Treasury and Economic Planning and the following accompanying documents: program-based budget, B, recurrent estimates, C, development estimates, volume 1, 2, and 3, and D, memorandum on supplementary estimates number 2. So we lay the supplementary estimate 2 for the financial year 2024-2025, Honorable Speaker. 2, draft public finance management, Teachers Service Commission, staff car loan and mortgage fund regulations 2024 from the Teachers Service Commission. And 3, submission of nominees for the following national government constituencies development fund committees: 1, Bonchari; 2, Bondo; 3, Dagoret South; 4, Eldama Ravine; 5, Embakasi East; 6, Edebeth; 7, Gilgil; 8, Igembe South; 9, Kabondo Kasipul; 10, Kajiado Central; 11, Kajiado West; 12, Kasipul; 13, Kiamba; 14, Kibra; 15, Kiharu; 16, Kipkelion East; 17 Kitui Rural, 18 Kuresoi North, 19 Laikipia West, 20 Lamu East, 21 Lamu West, 22nd, 22 Magarini, 23rd Makadara, 24 Mandera East, 25 Mandera North, 26th Masinga, 27 Mathioya, 28 Matuga, 29 Mwingi Central, 30 Nambale, 31 Daragwa, 32 Rarieda, 33 Roysambu, 34 Samburu West, 35 Sigor, 36 South Imenti, 37 Sarehe, and 38 Teso South. I beg to lay, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 18th of February 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on its consideration of the Agricultural and Livestock Extension Service Bill, Senate Bill number 12 of 2022.
Thank you, Yakon. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. Benja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 18th February 2025. Reports of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on its consideration of 1. The Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2024, and the Public Finance Management Amendment number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 26 of 2024. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Jerry Maina.
Apologies, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, thank you. I rise to request for statement regarding the delay in disbursement of the Higher Education Loans Board funds. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the ongoing funding crisis affecting students in institutions of higher learning across the country. Honorable Speaker, on 20th December 2024, the High Court of Kenya, in Kenya Human Rights Commission and 3 others versus the AG and 4 others, 2024, declared the new higher education funding model unconstitutional and issued an order of prohibition which barred implementation of the model until the government complies with the Constitution and the necessary legal requirements. Thereafter, the Ministry of Education undertook to introduce a new tertiary institution funding model to address the matter. This is expected to be implemented later in the year. Despite the government undertaking to revert to the old Higher Education Loans Board held model, there has been an apparent lack of commitment to timely disbursement of funds to students. This contravenes the provisions of Article 43(1) of the Constitution, which guarantee the right of every person to education. At present, thousands of students continuing with their studies face financial distress as they are unable to pay tuition fees, which has left them locked out of examinations. This has triggered unrest in universities across the country, with students staging protests and, in other cases, lecturers boycotting examinations. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1. The total amount of funds disbursed by the National Treasury under the Higher Education Loans Board held model, including specific dates of these disbursements. to the total number of students who have benefited from the disbursed funds since November 2024 and the measures put in place to ensure timely disbursements of funds to prevent future disruptions in learning. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Merely 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Honorable Speaker, 2 weeks is very far. The information that the honourable member is asking is very urgent, very important.
Well done. Wednesday next week.
So I want to bring it, I think Tuesday next week.
Tuesday,
yes.
You'll be ready?
I'll be ready with it.
Tuesday, 2:30.
Yes, thank you.
Mashua Waithaka, all chairpersons should be like that. Mashua Waithaka. Give the mic to Mashua.
Yes. Thank you, Chair, Speaker. Request for statement regarding land parcels erroneously listed by the National Land Commission. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands regarding an erroneous classification of 2 parcels of land belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege as illegal alienated government land. Honorable Speaker, on the 17th July 2017, the National Land Commission, NLC, with the Kenya Gazette, volume CX 1X, number 97, listed several parcels of land as illegal alienated government land and ordered that their titles be revoked. Among them were 2 parcels of land in Kiambu County, land with house block 2/80 and land with house block 2/81 belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege of ID number 0551205, which illegally acquired in 2006 and 2007 respectively. Since then, he has consistently remitted required land rates to Kiambu County government without any dispute or challenge over the legitimacy of his ownership, which evidences rightfully ownership. The arbitrary revocation of his title deeds by NLC amounts to deprivation of property by the government, which violates the provisions of Article 40 of the Constitution. Despite numerous appeals to the National Land Commission to rectify this error, no corrective action has been taken. The situation raises concerns regarding fairness and reliability of land administration process in the country. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands on the following. The reasons for the cancellation of title deeds number block 2/80 and block 2/81 in Kiambu County belonging to Mr. Stephen Shege via Gazette Notice number 6864 of 17 July 2017, despite his lawful acquisition and payment of land rates to the government. 2. Report on the status of revocation of the erroneous Gazette Notice to restore the land ownership rights to Mr. Stephen Shege. And 3. The specific implementation timelines when the National Land Commission will resolve the error, including reassurance of valid title deeds to Mr. Stephen Shege. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Nyamoko. How much time do you need to bring a response? Give him the mic.
2 weeks, Honorable Speaker.
2 weeks, so that. Joseph Gitari. Honorable Joseph Gitari, Kirinyaga Central.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to request a statement regarding the management of Kisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Cooperative Society Limited. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson Departmental Committee on Trade and Industry and Cooperative regarding the management of Kisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Cooperative Society Limited. Honorable Speaker, Kisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Society (SACCO) Limited was established in the year 2001 with the objective of empowering women to actively engage in economic decision-making. Initially rooted in Embu and Kirinyaga counties, the SACCO has grown to include thousands of members from across the country and boost a substantial capital base. However, in the recent past, concerns have emerged among members regarding the operation of the SACCO, especially following the unfortunate passing on by the coordinator, Mrs. Christine Gary. Since her demise, there has been a breakdown of communication from the new management despite repeated requests from members for updates on the governance and financial status of the SACCO. This has caused anxiety among members, particularly noting that prevalence in financial management reported in various cooperative societies in the country. Honorable Speaker, it is...
Order, Honorable Dena, can you walk back to where you've come from? You have been here for now 2.5 years. You know what to do. Honorable Bensouda, can you induct him on what to do? Go on, Gitari.
Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperative on the following. 1. The current status of Kisho Rawanawake Savings and Credit Society Limited, including financial and registration status with the SACCO Society Regulatory Authority, SASLA. Number 2, measures that the Ministry of Cooperative and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, MSMEs, Development has put in place to ensure that the SACCO complies with the established regulation, particularly in financial reporting and holding of regular meetings. Number 3, Speaker, the steps taken by the Ministry to enhance governance and oversight of the cooperative in the country to protect the member savings. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gitari. Chair, Trade, Gakuya, Vice Chair. How much time do you require?
2 weeks.
2 weeks it
Thank
is. Thank you. Go back to order number 2.
Order number 2, communication from the Chair.
Honorable members, before I make some short communication, allow me to acknowledge the presence of a delegation of 5 staff from the Office of the Leader of Opposition of the Parliament of Uganda, sitting in the Speaker's gallery to observe the House proceedings. The delegation is on a benchmarking visit at the National Assembly to foster knowledge exchange and share parliamentary experience with our staff in the National Assembly. On my own behalf and that of the National Assembly, I welcome the delegation to the National Assembly and wish them well during their visit. In the public gallery, honorable members, I acknowledge the presence of the following institutions: Pan-African Christian University from Roysambu, Nairobi; Mathwata Secondary School from Masinga, Machakos; Kiambere School Complex from Bere North, Embu; St. Clair Girls High School, Gatitu from Gatundu South, Kiambu; Gilgil Day Secondary School, Gilgil, Nakuru. On behalf of all of us, Mother Wangari has asked me to acknowledge a school from her constituency, do so for all the rest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I must say that this session is very encouraging to find that our schools are back in full force. We are able to host very many students in the galleries so that they can be able to observe the proceedings of this house. It also helps us to actually realize that we are pace setters and we have to actually be good examples for the youngsters that we host here every time. But Mr. Speaker, as I welcome all the students, allow me to pay special tribute to Gilgil Day Secondary School, one of the biggest day schools in Gilgil, hosting over 1,000 kids, Mr. Speaker, even without Form 1s. And there are so many such that even tomorrow we'll have another delegation of the same school. I want to just take the opportunity to welcome to the house and to actually encourage them, because we are only here for a while. It will be them sitting on these seats in the next few years to come. So on behalf of all of us and for all the school students that are visiting, I want to take this opportunity to welcome them to the house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members on their feet, take your seats. Richard Yegon, take your seat. Mrembo, take your seat. Honorable members, I've got two communications to make. The first one is an update on reconstitution of lapsed committees. I've been notified by the leader of the majority party and the leader of the minority party that the committee on selection is yet to conclude the nomination of members to the lapsed committees. Further, the leaders note that consultations are ongoing and will be concluded soon to allow for the reconstitution of the specified committees. Honorable members, noting that the budget policy statement, PBS, and the medium-term debt strategy, which was laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 13th February 2025, has specified timelines. I direct that awaiting the reconstitution of committees, the BPS be processed by the liaison committee. Similarly, noting that the supplementary estimates 2 for the 2024-2025 financial year have just been laid on the table of the House, I also refer the same to the liaison committee for processing. I thank you. Second communication, honorable members, is to notify the House of the demise of 2 members of Parliament, a senator and a member of the National Assembly, the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, and the senator for Baringo, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo. Honorable members, it's with immense sorrow that I hereby notify members of the National Assembly and the entire Parliament fraternity of the untimely demise of 2 of our colleagues, one in the National Assembly and the other in the Senate. First, honorable members, I report with a heavy heart the passing on of the member for Malava constituency, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi MP, which occurred yesterday, Monday, 17th February 2025, while he was undergoing treatment at the Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi. The late Honorable Injendi was born on 9th October 1966 in Lugusi village, Malava constituency. He began his education at Lugusi Primary School in 1974 and completed there in 1981. Thereafter, he joined St. Ignatius Mukumu Boys High School in 1982 and completed his O-levels there in 1985. He proceeded to St. Peter's Mumias Boys High School for his A-levels and completed in 1987. He later joined Egerton University for his undergraduate studies, graduating in 1991 with a Bachelor of Arts, Economics and Sociology. His passion for education pushed him to further his studies and attained a Master of Arts Sociology degree from the University of Nairobi in 1996. At the time of his demise, he was pursuing a Doctor of Philosophy at the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University in the Republic of South Africa. The late Honorable Injendi has a vast career in life, having worked at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa from 2001 as a deputy registrar and later as a lecturer. As an educationist, the late Injendi championed education reforms and dedicated his time to serve as a chairperson and member of boards of governors of various schools, including Lugusi Secondary School. The late Injendi joined elective politics in 2013 when he successfully vied for and won the parliamentary seat as a member for Malava constituency of the Maendeleo Democratic Party MDP ticket, a seat he retained for 3 consecutive terms. Until his untimely demise, he was serving his 3rd term in Parliament and was the Vice Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education, where he played a critical role in the formulation of policies to improve the education sector. He was also a member of the Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and the Library, where he contributed to the committee's work in its report on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. The report was adopted by this House in September 2024 and is being progressively implemented. The late Honorable Njendi will also be remembered for his contributions in supporting reforms in the sugar sector, including supporting the enactment of the Sugar Act 2024. In the 12th Parliament, the Honorable Njendi also served in the Departmental Committee on Education and Research, the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Welfare, Transport, Public Works and Housing, and the Committee on Regional Integration. In his first stint, which was the 11th Parliament, the late Njendi was a member of the Departmental Committee on Education, Research and Technology, and the Joint Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity. His diligent contribution towards the fulfillment of the mandates of the committees in which he served since 2013 was immense. The late Njendi was a dedicated and selfless leader who had passion for reforms in education and other aspects of social welfare. Of note was his passion for the welfare of village elders. Having been raised by a father who served as a village elder, the late Njendi always wished for structured integration of village elders in the national government administration with appropriate remunerations. Consequently, members, when he finally got the platform on the floor of this House as a member of the 11th Parliament, the late Njendi actualized his desire by introducing a motion on recognition of compensation of village elders, which was adopted by the House in 2016. The motion urged the government to facilitate village elders with a monthly honorarium, to facilitate them meet their logistical costs and encourage them to uphold their dedication to serving the community. Later on in 13th Parliament, he escalated the motion to a bill by sponsoring the National Government Coordination Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 25 of 2023, so as to give the motion the force of law. The bill, which seeks to recognize village elders who perform national government function at the village level administrative units, is currently awaiting consideration at the Committee of the Whole House. In honor of his persistent vision of creating a framework for recognition of village elders in the national government administration hierarchies, I urge the House to prioritize the bill for enactment into law. Honorable members, besides his legislative role, the late Honorable Njendi was a devout Catholic and an active member of the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus since he joined Parliament. The late Njendi was proud of his Catholic faith and was always visibly wearing his rosary at all times. Indeed, in the year 2023, he requested and received a special rosary right from the Vatican, blessed by the Pope Francis. The late Honorable Njendi was unique for his role, for his rule of thumb practice of always connecting his faith with legislative work. He is reported to have always sought to understand the biblical and Catholic foundational teachings on all matters that were before the House for consideration, to inform his position and contribution of them. Honorable members, in the passing on of Njendi, a humble leader who served his constituents and the nation with unwavering dedication and integrity, has rested. On behalf of the Parliamentary Service Commission, all members and staff of the National Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, I convey our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Honorable Njendi, his relatives, friends, and the people of Malava constituency. As the National Assembly, we assure them of our support during this period of great sorrow. Honorable members, I also wish to report with profound sorrow the untimely demise of one of our colleagues in the Senate, the Honorable William Kipkiror Cheptumo MP, who was the Senator for Baringo County. The late William Cheptumo passed away on Saturday, 16th February 2025, while receiving treatment at the Nairobi Hospital. The late Senator William Cheptumo was born on 25th December 1967 in Baringo County. He attended Marigut Primary School before joining Bartolimo Secondary School and later Cabernet High School for his O-level and A-level. Thereafter, he pursued a Bachelor of Laws degree at the University of Nairobi from 1988 to 1991 and a postgraduate diploma in law at the Kenya School of Law in 1992, prior to his admission to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Senator Cheptumo began his legal career as a legal officer at the Industrial and Commercial Development Corporation, ICDC, in 1993 and left ICDC in 1995. He then joined the Central Bank of Kenya as a legal officer in 1995 and left in 1998 to establish his own firm, Cheptumo and Kamban Advocates, which he ran from 1998 to 2007. During this time, he gained vast experience on practicing law, establishing himself as an astute advocate. The late Senator Cheptumo ventured into politics in 2007 when he successfully contested for the Baringo North constituency parliamentary seat on the Orange Democratic Movement ODM party ticket. During his first term of parliament between 2008 and 2013, I had the privilege of working alongside him in the executive when he served as the Assistant Minister for Justice, National Cohesion, and Constitutional Affairs while I held the Foreign Affairs portfolio as the Minister. Senator Cheptumo not only demonstrated exceptional dedication and a deep understanding of legal matters, but also applied his legal knowledge in the running of government affairs under his charge. The late Senator Cheptumo was re-elected for a second term in 2013 in the 11th Parliament. He served as the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, a member of the House Business Committee, and a member of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Additionally, he was a member of the Parliamentary Pensions Management Committee. As the chairperson of the Committee on Delegated Legislation, the late Senator Cheptumo will be remembered for superintending the consideration of many statutory instruments that were necessary to operationalize the acts of Parliament that were enacted to actualize the 2010 Constitution. The late Senator Cheptumo was once again re-elected to represent Baringo North constituency in the 12th Parliament, making him one of the longest-serving members of this House. He served as the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, where his legal and immense parliamentary expertise were instrumental in guiding key legislative processes and the consideration of policies that were referred to his committee. In 2002, members, the late Senator Cheptumo successfully contested for the Baringo County Senate seat. Until his demise, he was serving as the chairperson of the Senate Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations. Additionally, he was an active member of the Senate Liaison Committee, the Senate Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights Committee, and Land, Environment and Natural Resources. He was a member of the Ad Hoc Committee on the Proliferation of Religious Organizations and the Circumstances leading to the deaths of more than 95 people in Shakahola in Kilifi County. Honorable members, in his passing on, Parliament and indeed the country has lost a transformative servant leader. On behalf of the National Assembly, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and indeed on my own behalf, I pay tribute to Senator William Cheptumo and extend our deepest condolences to his family and the people of Baringo County. His death is a big loss to Parliament, to the people of Baringo County, and the nation at large, which he served with dedication and humility. Honorable members, condolence books have been opened both at the National Assembly and the Senate receptions, main Parliament buildings, where honorable members and parliamentary staff may record their condolence messages to the families of the departed members from Malava and the Senator for Baringo, respectively. In line with the Parliamentary Service Commission's bereavement policy, I have constituted an ad hoc funeral committee to help with the funeral arrangements. The committee comprises of the following members in relation to Honorable Malulu Njendi: Honorable Bernard Shinal MP as the chairperson, Honorable Julius Meli, CBS MP, Honorable Emmanuel Wango, CBS MP, and Honorable Ellis Muhanda. I have also requested the Speaker of the Senate to nominate 2 senators to the ad hoc committee. I have also appointed the following members to work with our Senate colleagues in coordinating Parliament's involvement in the funeral arrangement for the late Senator William Cheptumo. The Honorable T.J. Kajwang, CBS MP, the Honorable Joseph McClap MP, the Honorable Florence Jematia MP. Honorable members are therefore encouraged to liaise with the ad hoc committees on matters relating to the funeral and interment of our departed colleagues. In connection with the passing on of the Vice Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education of this House, I also wish to inform the House of the demise of another educationist in the country, Mr. Johnson Matheka Nzioka, the National Chairperson of the Kenya Primary Schools Heads Association, KEPSHA. The late Mr. Nzioka, who was also the head teacher of Donholm Primary School in Nairobi City County, succumbed to his injuries he sustained in a road accident that occurred on Sunday, 16 February 2025 in Athi River along Nairobi-Mombasa Road. The late Mr. Nzioka, who is a long-serving and distinguished educationist with a career spanning over 39 years, holds a bachelor's degree in education from East African University and a diploma in education management from the Kenya Institute of Education Management, KEMI. In these very many years as a career teacher, he has been a head teacher for 24 years. He has made immense contribution to the education sector in various capacities, including, as I've mentioned, a head teacher for 24 years and a member of various councils such as the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, the Education Task Force, the International Confederation of Principals, and the National Examination Appeals Tribunal. In recognition of his dedication and exceptional service to primary education, he was recognized and awarded the Head of State Commendation HSC in 2021. Honorable members, in honor of our departed colleagues, the Honorable Moses Malulu Injendi, MP, and the Honorable Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo MP, and the KEPSHA Chairman, I request that we all stand and observe a moment of silence. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Amen. Honorable members, I put this communication to come after the other orders because many members asked me to give them an opportunity to eulogize their colleagues. I'll allocate 1 hour to this from now to 4:15, and each member who gets an opportunity will have a maximum of 2 minutes. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to join you in condoling with the families of the late Cheptumo and the late Malulu Injendi. Honorable Speaker, I happen to have joined this House at the same time with the 2 members in the 11th Parliament, and I can attest to what you have said in your communication, that the 2 honorable members, the Senator for Baringo and the member for Malava, are indeed very dedicated public servants and leaders in their respective constituencies. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, when you represented Baringo North and served in this House, serving all the way as the chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee.
Order. This is a solemn moment where we have lost 2 of your colleagues at the same time. I would expect that you give it the solemnity that it deserves. Go on, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was saying
Honorable Cheptumo served also as a member and later chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee, and served with a lot of diligence as a chair of that committee, and those who were in the 12th Parliament with us, we remember the dedication with which the Honorable Cheptumo served this House as chair of the Delegated Legislation Committee, considering numerous regulations for approval in the House, and did so with a lot of intellect. Honorable Cheptumo, Honorable Speaker, happened to be a very good lawyer, and I was privileged, Honorable Speaker, to learn later after I served with him here that he had also worked with my wife, who was then working in the bank, and Cheptumo happened to be in one of the panels for that bank. And my wife attested when we finally met at some point somewhere together with Honorable Cheptumo. She attested how diligent Honorable Cheptumo was in conveyancing, and how much even those who worked in the bank trusted the work of the late Honorable Cheptumo, and is indeed a great loss, not just to his family, to the people of Baringo County, especially the people of Baringo North, whom he represented in this House for 2 terms as a Member of Parliament, but also the greater people of Baringo, who he served as their senator. It is sad that we have lost him at a time when the people of Baringo needed him the most. Honorable Speaker, I was also privileged to have served with Honorable Malulu Ijendi from the 11th Parliament, when we first joined this House together. And Malulu, the late Malulu, Honorable Speaker, again is a leader who exemplified himself as a servant, true servant of the people, and a true believer. Honorable Speaker, many members will bear me witness that the late Malulu never left his rosary wherever he went. And those who have served with the late Malulu in this House, those of the Catholic faith, will remember that Malulu Ijendi at all times had his rosary with him. And many of us nicknamed him Bishop. And indeed, where he used to sit, just behind where the Honorable Ikana is seated, he had a permanent position there, and every time as we walked out, we would say hi to him and call him Bishop. And he is indeed a great loss, not just to the people of Malava, his family, but to us as a nation. The late Malulu Ijendi was not just a true believer, but also a dedicated educationist. As a former teacher, he moved on to serve as our vice chair of the Education Committee, and the chair of the Education Committee will tell you the dedication.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to condole with the family of the departed members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am known to Honorable Ijendi Malulu, Mr. Speaker. We came in the 11th Parliament, I think, together to this Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he was a very dedicated servant of the people, and somebody who had spent most of his time in his constituency, Mr. Speaker. He was rarely in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. Any time he had in his hand, Mr. Speaker, the member spent with his constituents, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker is a man who knew what he was doing. Because, Mr. Speaker, the love Honorable Ijendi Malulu had for his constituents, Mr. Speaker, was immeasurable. I remember during the elections, Mr. Speaker, we were campaigning, and we had a candidate as a party against him, Mr. Speaker. But when we visited the constituency, we were told categorically that the most popular person in this constituency is Malulu Ijendi, Mr. Speaker, as an individual. You know, in whichever party he contests, that is the information we were given on the ground. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask God to stand with his people, Mr. Speaker, at this trying moment. And Honorable Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, also, we were together with him in this House. He was a very dedicated servant, Mr. Speaker, of the people. He was in the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and we benefited as a House, Mr. Speaker, immensely from his knowledge of the Constitution and the law, Mr. Speaker. I served with him in Parliament, I served with him in the House Business Committee, and Mr. Speaker, those are servants of people who have left us, Mr. Speaker, at a time when Kenyans really require their service, Mr. Speaker. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I condole with the family, and may God rest their souls in peace, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this time to condole with the family of our two honorable colleagues, Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Moses Malulu Njendi. Honorable Speaker, we came to this house with Honorable Malulu Njendi in 2013, and as my colleagues have said, he was a very humble, very diligent, very honest, very religious, and a good educationist. I served with him in the 11th Parliament as a member of the Committee of Education, where we were led ably by Honorable Sabina Chege. During that time, Honorable Malulu Njendi gave us his mind on educational issues, ranging from the primary school education all the way to university. Honorable Malulu Njendi, Honorable Speaker and members, he was a man who actually loved his constituents a lot. He didn't fail to go to his constituency every weekend, every month. And at all times, he served these people with a lot of diligence and integrity. He was a man who really built many schools, many colleges, and many institutions in his place. Honorable Cheptumo is a senior member in this house. He mentored us. We found him. He was a member of Baringo North from 2007 all the way to 2013 when he came in. As young legislators, Cheptumo took us with a lot of humility and taught us parliamentary legislative processes as a member of the delegated committee and also as a member of several other committees. We learned a lot from the two members. May the good Lord bless their souls in eternal peace. Asante sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to pay tribute to the Honorable Malulu Njendi, Moses MP Malava, Kakamega County, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu has been a good friend, very close and a relative, Mr. Speaker, a man of humility, down to earth, Mr. Speaker. Being a relative, Mr. Speaker, despite the age group, Mr. Speaker, Malulu has always called me uncle since he's married from my clan, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I and Mr. Malulu in political trajectory took the same path in 2017, Mr. Speaker, when we found ourselves in corridors of justice, Mr. Speaker, defending election petitions, Mr. Speaker, in the High Court in Kakamega. Despite that, we also won, both of us, and Mr. Speaker, at 2022, Mr. Speaker, we are re-elected the third time, Mr. Speaker, with the Malulu Njendi. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Malulu Njendi, the MP Malava, has transformed education in Malava, both infrastructure and learning, Mr. Speaker, in Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, I wish to take this chance, Mr. Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of people of Ikolomani and Kakamega County, to eulogize with the family and pass my condolences to the people of Kakamega for losing such a leader, Malava constituency. Mr. Speaker, also losing a committed leader who has transformed and left a legacy in Malava constituency, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've had the privilege of interacting with Mr. and Ms. Cheptumo as legal practitioners long before he joined politics, Mr. Speaker. And I found him as a brilliant legal practitioner who was down to earth. I also had the privilege of being with him in Parliament from 2007 as a representative of the people of Baringo North, and then later on, right now, was serving as a senator. Mr. Speaker, death is a must. We as a Muslim, we always say, "Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut." Every soul shall test death. It's a must. It's only the owner who gives and who knows when to take away. And therefore, all of us must be ready to submit to the will of God when we live, so that when we go down, we'll be welcomed in the bounties of heaven, Mr. Speaker. I know Mr. Cheptumo will be missed by many friends, Mr. Speaker, I have also interacted with Mr. Ijendi and found him a man who was carrying the rosary. In my culture, Mr. Speaker, when you see a man or a woman of God always blessed with a rosary, it's a sign of forgiveness. It's a sign of atonement. It's a sign of asking, look, you always appreciate the only presence of God around you. And I know truly in Mr. Ijendi and Mr. Cheptumo, the people they have represented will greatly miss them. But the only thing that we can do, I want you, as our head, to give them a dignified and decent life. That is the only way we can also remain true to the service they offered to the respective electorate. Thank you, sir.
Sabina Chege. Sergeant, can you check the system is malfunctioning? Sabina Chege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to offer my condolences to the people of Malava on behalf of Honorable Ijendi and also the people of Baringo County. Mr. Speaker, both members have worked with them, and I worked with Honorable Ijendi on 11th Parliament, where I chaired the Committee on Education. He was one of the greatest supporters who contributed immensely in education. Mr. Ijendi, Honorable Ijendi, was also a lecturer and a person who also loved the Catholic faith. We will all remember him wearing his crucifix, and he was a very humble man. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Cheptumo, I also served with him at the 12th Parliament, and also when now he was a senator. And I would also want to pass my condolences to the people of Baringo County and also his family. And I just want to say one word, Mr. Speaker, that as leaders we should know that life is not permanent. As we make decisions, as we work together here in the House, let us not carry heavy burdens, and let us serve the people, because God has appointed us at a time like this and nobody knows about tomorrow. So to the people of Baringo and Malava constituency, I personally wish them God's grace at this time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Maklap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me join you in paying tribute to our late Senator William Kipkiror Cheptumo, who passed on 16th. Mr. Speaker, first I want to endorse that whatever you read is a true position and life of Honorable William Cheptumo, our Senator and our immediate former Member of Parliament of Baringo North, a man that I took over from in 2022. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it known that Senator Cheptumo is not only a Senator of Baringo, he was actually my maternal uncle. So, Mr. Speaker, I have lost a jomba in myself. A man that is fast in many things. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cheptumo went to school too late. Those of us, Mr. Speaker, who are not born in hospital and who lived in rural areas, Mr. Speaker, went to school too late. You could see, Mr. Speaker, Cheptumo written 57 years ago. Mr. Speaker, the true position is not 57. We always choose the date of Christmas when Jesus was born as our birthday for those of us who are not born in hospital, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this man did a good job in Baringo North, Mr. Speaker, and I have made, Mr. Speaker, give me an extra minute, and I have ensured, Mr. Speaker, that whatever Cheptumo started in Baringo North, we are able to complete, Mr. Speaker, within the shortest time possible. Mr. Speaker, because of no time, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also inform members that Honorable Cheptumo shall be laid to rest in his home in Bartabwa on 1st of March, Mr. Speaker, and there will be a requiem mass on.
Okay.
Allow me just on 27, Mr. Speaker. There will be a requiem mass in AIC Mlimani for our late Senator William Cheptumo, Mr. Speaker, and I've also known Mr. Ijendi as my registrar in Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Mr. Speaker, where I started double mathematics, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may their souls rest in peace, Mr. Speaker, and thank you.
Mabina Buera.
Thank you,
Mr. Speaker. I rise to condole with the families of Jeptumo and Honorable Malulu Njenti. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Malulu Njende and I share so many things. Our mothers are angled in the same home. Honorable Njende and I belong to the same circumcision age set, Vachuma. Njende and I were in school at the same time. While he was in Mumias, I was in Musingu High School. I've known Njende for well over 30 years. Honorable Njende was not just a friend, a relative, but also a barometer for many things. When I wanted to check something that I thought I wanted to contribute on, I would speak to Honorable Njende. On behalf of the caucus, Western Parliamentary Group Caucus, and on behalf of the people of Lugari, I want to send my sincere condolences to the family, to the children, and to the people of Malaba. Honorable Speaker, you remember you gave me an assignment with Honorable Wangwe to be the caretaker of Honorable Njende when he was in a hospital all this long. It's a journey that Honorable Speaker was very difficult for Honorable Wangwe and I. We saw him sick. We saw him rising up. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Yes, wind up.
We've seen him lose the battle. It has not been easy. And I want to thank you, the Speaker, and everyone else who joined us in this journey. I condole with the family.
Betsimba. Honorable Betsimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Pia mimi nisimame kwa niaba ya eneo bunge la Kisauni kusema pole kwa ndugu jamaa na marafiki na eneo bunge la Malava kwa kifo cha Mheshimiwa Njende. Mheshimiwa Njende alikuwa anaishi na watu vizuri, na kitu anayohitaji sasa ni maombi. Kikubwa anachohitaji ni maombi. Tumuombe Mungu amsamehe madhambi yake, amweke katika watu wema mahala pema. Pia hii ni ishara kwamba unakumbushwa kwamba hii dunia unapita. Kwa hivyo unalohitajika hapa katika dunia hii ni kufanya mema. Hayo ndio yatakwenda kusaidia mbele. Kifo hakijali mtu mzima wala mtoto wala cheo chochote, wala una uhakika kuishi dakika 2 kutoka sasa. Kwa hivyo hii ni moja katika, pia wale ambao bado wako hai wajue kwamba iko safari ambayo wanakwenda, na kikubwa ni ufanye mema, na sisi sasa tulopewa jukumu tuwe tunafanya mazuri, yale ambao wanasaidia wale watu ambao wametuchagua. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Tematia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to condole with the people of Baringo and the people of Malaba. People of Malaba for the loss of our colleagues, Senator Jeptumo from Baringo and Honorable Njende. Mr. Speaker, Baringo has lost a great leader in Jeptumo, because Jeptumo served this house for 15 years, and I must say the biggest gap that Jeptumo created in this loss is the counsel that he gives us as young leaders and the continuous fight on insecurity in Baringo. And I want to say thank you to all members who have helped us through. We are still mourning as Baringo County, and I also want to say we will miss him so much, and Jeptumo will live, his life is going to live more. And for Njende and family, I want to send my condolences. I knew Njende because he was one of my voters when I was going to East Africa, and also being a colleague for these last 2 years. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Waluke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me chance also to contribute on the two leaders, the two members of Parliament whom we have lost. Honorable Speaker, I know and I knew all the two members that have worked with them, Honorable Injendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I knew Cheptumo from 2007. I've interacted with him for a very long time, and we met in this house, the 11th Parliament, and he was a very able and honest, hard-working leader. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Injendi was a very strong member, very honest, and people of Malava, I want to say Pole to them. Honorable Speaker, he was a very strong member of the caucus, Western Regional Caucus. He was a very good advisor of us. Honorable Speaker, we are going to miss them. I used to crack jokes with him, Honorable Speaker, whenever we meet with Honorable Injendi, calling him the Bishop of the Catholic Church, Honorable Speaker, and he was a very jovial member of Parliament, Honorable Speaker. No one in this house, Honorable Speaker, can complain and say that maybe Injendi was a rough. We are going to miss Honorable Injendi and Honorable Cheptumo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Makari Mulu.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and the behalf of the good people of Kitui Central, I want to convey my deepest condolences to the two families, the family of Honorable Injendi Marulu and the family of Senator Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I had a chance to work with these two honorable members for 2 terms, for the Cheptumo, and 3 terms with the Honorable Injendi. And Honorable Speaker, these two honorable members have been very serious with their work, and I'm very sure that the people who have been voting for them will miss them in a big way. So even as Honorable Speaker, we send our sympathies to the people who have been voting for them, Honorable Speaker. My prayer to the Almighty God is that they are so rest in eternal peace. Amen, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to pay tribute to 2 great people. Honorable Injendi Mululu, whom I first met when I came here to Parliament, and I know that one of the most important things that I remember about him, was that he was kind and very amiable, and he was a gentleman. And so when I arrived in Parliament, I felt like I was fish out of water, but he was one of the people who made me comfortable. He was always polite and kind. He always gave you way when you walked on the corridors or when people were crushing you on the corridors. And most importantly, when he wanted to speak, he requested with such humility and grace despite being very senior. As for Honorable Senator Cheptumo, he was my classmate at the University of Nairobi Law School. And I remember he also stood out because he was sober, calm, and very wise. And once I asked somebody, why does he behave like my father? Then I later was told, and he told me himself, that he had joined school at a very later age. So he was nicer than all the other men at the university, was very polite, was like a father to you. And most importantly, when all the young men in first year were chasing after girls, Cheptumo was focused on studying and was always telling the others not to behave like that. We will always remember our 2 colleagues.
Were they chasing girls or seducing girls?
Coaching them. But I stand here today to condole on behalf of the people of Singishu County with both families and rest their souls in eternal peace. Amen.
Mishimbogo.
This one. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hakika ni pigo kubwa sana katika taifa letu la Kenya na pia katika mabunge yetu mawili kupoteza viongozi mashujaa wetu wawili. Mheshimiwa Cheptum ni seneta, alikuwa seneta wa Baringo, alikuwa kiongozi mwenye busara sana. Alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, na hata wakati alipokuwa akichangia katika bunge hili la kitaifa, katika miswada na katika hoja, ungemwangalia ungejua huyu ni kiongozi ambaye anajielewa na anajua kwa nini yako katika bunge hili la kitaifa. Mheshimiwa huyu amefanya mchango mkubwa sana hata kule nyanjani. Tumezungumza na wengi sana kutoka sehemu za Baringo, na hivi sasa ni pengo kubwa sana ambalo liko pale. Lakini kwa niaba ya watu wa Likoni nasema poleni sana. Mwenyezi Mungu apatie familia faraja na apatie taifa la Kenya faraja. Kwa ndugu yetu Malulu Ijendi, pia alikuwa kiongozi mwadilifu, kiongozi shupavu. Ukiangalia katika Kakamega, ilikuwa ni sehemu ambayo ni pahali ambapo chama cha chungwa kimebobea, lakini yeye angeweza kuchaguliwa akiwa katika chama cha UDA. Kwa hivyo ni kumaanisha alikuwa ni kiongozi ambaye anatenda mema na anafanya mambo zaidi, haswa katika mambo ya miradi. Ni mheshimiwa ambaye alikuwa mpole, hata ukimuona utamuona tu mwenyewe amevaa ule msalaba wake, nikijua kwamba yeye alikuwa Mkatoliki. Kwa hivyo taifa hili la Kenya na mabunge yetu tumepoteza viongozi shupavu, viongozi ambao michango yao, haswa Malulu katika elimu, alichangia pahali pakubwa sana, na mheshimiwa Cheptum amechangia sana katika zile kamati alizokuwa, hata ile kamati ya masuala ya kisheria. Kwa hivyo
Mishi time yake imekwisha. Ferdinand. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people from Kwanza and Trans Nzoia, I want to take this opportunity to say, to send my condolence to my brother Moses Indenji, because he even came to my place in 2019 and helped me do some fundraising. He was a very dedicated man. We always met at the church down here. It's a Catholic, and there was a devoted Catholic church follower. You can see he had also always having a rosary. And we have missed somebody who was very intelligent. When he came to education matters, he would offer very good advice. And therefore, I want to take this opportunity to say pole to the family. And of course, William Mtuma also, we came together here in 2013, and he was a very dedicated contributor to most of the issues in this house. And therefore, people in Baringo, I think, have missed a very intelligent person, and therefore also take this opportunity to send my personal condolence to the family of Honorable William Kiptumo. And I want to take this opportunity also to say we have missed very important people, and therefore may the Lord actually place them in the eternal of His. Thank you. Thank you, Naisula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise also to pass my sincere condolences to the families, relatives, friends, and also the constituents of Honorable Malulu Ijendi of Malala constituency, and also Honorable William Cheptumo, of the Senator of Baringo County. I was privileged to work with the two gentlemen. The Speaker, Honorable Ijendi, was the chairperson of the Regional Integration Committee in the 12th point, Mr. Speaker, and later I also served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairman of JLAC. I must say that this country and their constituents have lost very dedicated legislatures in this houses, Mr. Speaker, and I must say that there are some of the people who worked in silence. They were never noisemakers. They used to work silently in the areas where they've been elected. They had clean politics, Mr. Speaker, based on issues, and also in the committees. I saw both gentlemen very dedicated, Mr. Speaker, and so it is not only their families who have lost, and it is not only the people who elected them, but the entire country, Mr. Speaker, have lost two great gentlemen, Mr. Speaker. And I must say that in your condoling with their families, Mr. Speaker, you gave a true tribute of who the two gentlemen were, Mr. Speaker, and in them we shall dearly miss them, and we will also remember and learn a lot from their leadership, Mr. Speaker. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, John Makali.
Give me the mic. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me take this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Kandui constituency to eulogize the late Honorable Malulu Njendi. Honorable Malulu Njendi was a true representative of the people. He was a man who actually never shied away from his faith. Honorable Malulu Njendi was our senior and he was my neighbor here in Parliament. We could consult at very, very short notice. Honorable Malulu Njendi was a real humble man, was an icon of humility. And the only thing we can be able to do, Honorable Speaker, as we send off Honorable Malulu Njendi, is to remember what he adeptly stood for. He adeptly stood for passing legislation to assist village managers and the village elders so they can also be able to get some money arising from the service they give to our people. So as we eulogize and send off Honorable Malulu Njendi, honorable members, we must send a gift to Honorable Malulu wherever he goes by passing the legislation which he adeptly pushed for in this house. He also contributed immensely in the education sector, and this house is thorough by the passing on of the Honorable Malulu Njendi. I take this opportunity to say pole sana to the people of Malava and say may he go in peace. And as we realize also the Honorable Baringo Senator, we wish to say that I never had an opportunity to work with him, but from the records in this particular house and in the Senate, he was a very sharp and fine legal mind. May the people of Baringo also be consoled due to the loss of the Honorable Cheptumo. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Speaker, allow me, on behalf of the people of Tharaka constituency, Tharaka Nithi County, and my own behalf, to condole with all the primary school teachers for having their child, Mr. Nzioka, a great guy who served the teachers very diligently. Allow me also to condole with the people of Malava for the loss of one great gentleman by the name Moses Ijendi, who actually we would describe as a gentleman par excellence, because nobody in this house would say they crossed paths with Honorable Malulu Njendi. He served so well, he was so humble, he was so amiable and humane in everything he did. This is a great loss to the of Malava, and we condole with them. Allow me also to condole with the people of Baringo County for having lost one of my best friends, Honorable Cheptumo. Cheptumo, we crossed paths in A level as he studied in Kabarak High School and I was in Kabarak. We would occasionally meet for debates, and those debates were beautiful. We then entered the University in 1988 and shared a class with him and also the Deputy Speaker of the House, the Honorable Gladys Boss. Let me disclaim that I was not in that class of those young men she has described. I was in the class of Cheptumo. We were quite serious in studies, and Cheptumo actually did very well. Eventually, we were admitted as advocates, and we practiced law with him. The House, for the chair of the Parliament, I served under Honorable Cheptumo when he was the chairperson of the jail.
Kwangwe. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the great people of Navaholo, on behalf of myself, Honorable Speaker, too, and the Catholic fraternity, Honorable Speaker, allow me to pass a message of condolence to the family, friends, and relatives of the late Honorable Malulu Njendi. Honorable Speaker, I share religion with Mheshimiwa Njendi. I also share family issues with Mheshimiwa Njendi, Honorable Speaker. His wife and my wife happen to be sisters. And Honorable Speaker, when I was called upon to be with him at his hour of need in hospital, I felt being together with my brother. And indeed, I saw, Honorable Speaker, the dark times of Mheshimiwa Malulu, and also when he has rested, Honorable Speaker. I want also to thank the Parliamentary Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, for the work they did for us yesterday. It was immense.
they persevered, and Honorable Speaker, it cannot go without appreciating them for their input. Honorable Speaker, I worked here very well with Mheshimiwa Malulu as a person who understood the people of Malava, whom I neighbor with. As a neighbor, we were very good. We worked together. And Honorable Speaker, the greatest moment I wish to remember Mheshimiwa Malulu is in 2017, Honorable Speaker, when the entire region, Honorable Speaker, was in CORD, but through a very difficult time and held each other's hand and went through as Jubilee MPs. That was a moment, and Honorable Speaker, much time we used to do was to sit with him and he would pray for us. Honorable Speaker, on the issue of Honorable Cheptumo, allow me to really wish the people of Baringo that indeed, Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him twice in the 11th Parliament and 12th Parliament. And Honorable Speaker, many a times we used to refer to him as a walking dictionary, because it was a working constitutional speaker, because whenever the speaker and then the Honorable Muturi could want to raise an issue of constitutionalism, he was there to help interpret the constitution of.
Thank you, Rachel Nyamai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kip South, on my own behalf, Honorable Speaker, I would like to join you and the House in condoling with our colleagues, the Honorable Malulu Ijendi and the Honorable Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, it is a very sad moment for all of us to lose two great gentlemen who have served in this House. Honorable Speaker, I have served with the two of them in the 11th Parliament, in the 12th Parliament, and also in the 13th Parliament with Honorable Malulu Ijendi, and also with the Honorable Cheptumo, who, as much as he was in the Senate, he would cross over on this side and consult us. Mr. Speaker, other members have said the Honorable Malulu Ijendi is a very respectful person, a person who has committed to his constituents, to his family, very humble and God-loving. Honorable Speaker, it is hard to forget the position where the Honorable Malulu Ijendi sat, and when he wanted to speak, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity that you give us to sit there, he is very respectful and he always walked to that seat with a lot of respect. Speaker, the Honorable Malulu's contribution to education in his constituency, in this House, and also in the country is worth noting. Honorable Speaker, I remember that when we were dealing with the sugar bill, the Honorable Malulu Ijendi participated immensely, passionately for his people. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to condole with him and his family and ask God to keep him in a safe place which he worked for hard. Honorable Speaker, give me a chance to say a word about the Honorable Cheptumo. I have interacted with the Honorable Cheptumo in the House. We sat together in the 12th Parliament in the Liaison Committee when I chaired lands and so delegation.
Rachel umekwisha. Lengit.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to join the team, the National Assembly team, in eulogizing the lives of Senator William Cheptumo, the Baringo Senator, and also Honorable Malulu Ijendi. It is a great loss, Honorable Speaker, for this country and the people of those constituencies and counties that the two represent. I have known them as very mature leaders in this House, especially with internal memory. Every time, Honorable Speaker, the like of Malulu Ijendi normally sits along the way while we enter this House, Mr. Speaker. It is very difficult passing before saying hi to him, also getting one or two wise statements from or wise words from him, Honorable Speaker. I sat with Malulu Ijendi in the Committee for Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library Services, and he had a lot of immense contribution during our committee sessions. Also, Honorable Speaker, Senator Cheptumo has been more like a councillor, a leader with a lot of experience. We've shared a lot with him while he was still alive. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to join hands with this House in mourning their lives and also to condole with the people of where these two leaders come from, the people of Baringo and also the people of Malava. Finally, Honorable Mr. Speaker, I also want to pass my condolences to the former chair of Kesha, John Nzioka, for his loss. I want to tell all the leadership of the primary school heads that we are very sorry for their loss. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Number.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of myself, the Pimuhaya, the now dissolving ANC party and the UDA party, let me take this opportunity to condole with the families of one Johnson Nzioka, a teacher of repute who was the chairman of KEPSHA. KEPSHA is the Kenya Primary Schools Association, a professional body that actually voices the professionalism of teachers. On behalf of myself and the groups I've mentioned, my condolences to the family of the late Johnson Nzioka, an educationist and a vast person. Let me also condole with the family of the late Baringo Senator William Cheptumo. Cheptumo carved his place as a unique legislator when he was here. He was the kind of legislator whom, when he stood up to speak, the whole house somewhat would just go quiet and listen to his explanation, especially on constitution and constitutionalism and things that related to law. And he's a great guy with great respect and a mentor of many of us. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the demise of Honorable Malulu Njendi is in itself a memento mori. That actually sounds a warning to all of us who are in parliament and those who are not in parliament, that death is definite and it's coming for us. Because a few days ago he was just seated there and all the time catching your eye to express his views on education and other matters. But there is gone a very calm legislator. Njendi was a legislator who knew how to get to the people minus the political parties. Though a member of the NC party, which have been the Secretary General, Njendi could have still made it on any political party. And no wonder, in your ideology, you indicate him as having come on a party that was little known, even when he had been denied the famous ticket.
Yeah, Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to condole with the families of our two colleagues, the Honorable William Cheptumo from the Senate of Baringo and the Honorable Njendi, the MP for Malava. I would like to pass my apologies on behalf of the people of Nyamira and on my own behalf. And Honorable Speaker, secondly, I would also like to pay special tribute to Mwalimu Johnson Nzioka, because Honorable Speaker, Mwalimu Johnson Nzioka actually taught me in Donholm Primary in class 5 for maths, and he was also the head teacher for our school before I left. He has been the head teacher there for more than 24 years, and I'd just like to send a special tribute to his family, to all the teachers of KEPSHA and the community and families of Donholm Primary, because that is a community primary in Embakasi East, and so I pass my sincere condolences to all three. I thank you.
Waliobaki mchukue dakika moja moja. We have a few minutes to go. Bensuda, 1 minute only.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would also like to pass my condolences to our honorable members who passed on, and this is a moment that we need to be prayerful because we know what the family is undergoing. Mr. Speaker, I would want to say that I sat in the Committee of Education for 3 days only with the Honorable Malulu. He was always prompt and early enough for the meeting. His contribution was amazing. Honorable Speaker, I thank and appreciate you set aside already a committee that will look into their befitting send-off. I want to pray that everything will be done accordingly and prudently, so that during the time of the Requiem Mass, the parliamentarians should go there in solidarity. As women, we feel the large gap that their spouses are now undergoing. And as this parliament or this house, when we go to give the last respect, we should check and establish if there are students or their children who are still going on with their education. And so I stand that something should be done as a legacy of their contribution in these houses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and on behalf of Homa Bay County, on behalf
MP Westlands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish also to condole with the families of Honorable Cheptumo and Honorable Njenti. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Cheptumo, I served with him in the 11th Parliament, the same committee of delegated legislation. He was my chair, and he was a very, very intelligent man, committed, and provided leadership, and we did a lot of work with him. Honorable Speaker, I also want to pass my condolences to the family of Honorable Malulu Njenti, a man that we came to this Parliament at the same time. He served with him, we were serving with him in the current Parliament, the same Committee of Broadcasting and Library, and also we are members of the CAMC, the Catholic Members of Parliament caucus, and he is a very, very honorable man, and he has...
Time up, Ikana. You have only 1 minute, so...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of my constituents, the great people of Shinyalu, I wish to extend my sincere condolences to the families of our departed colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm that the tribute you read about the Honorable Malulu Njenti was accurate 100%. Honorable Malulu Njenti was very passionate about his people of Malava. He served them even when he was very sick in the hospital, and this can be confirmed by the fact that he was able to push for the tarmacking of Alamith and Abahola Road even when it was very quickly. Mr. Speaker, personally, I owe to a great deal and extend my election to this Parliament to the support I received from Honorable Malulu Njenti. Having been my teammate in Kenya Kwanza, we did joint rallies, we campaigned together, and he guided me, enabling me to tap into his...
Dan Wanyama.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to condole with the families of our departed colleagues, but more importantly, with the Honorable Malulu Njenti. He's one person I've known since our childhood, because I went to school with him at St. Peter's, and at some point I was his class prefect in Form 5 and Form 6. And I know Honorable Malulu is a very truthful and sincere person. I know the family will lose him, the people of Malava will lose him, but all the same, let his soul rest in peace. I thank you.
Thank you. Katana?
Okay. Asante Bwana Spika, nataka nijiunge na wenzangu kutoa rambirambi kwa niaba ya wakazi wa Kaloleni kwa Senator Cheptum na Mheshimiwa Njenti. Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Njenti amekuwa akitetea sana mambo ya elimu, na pia Njenti amekuwa tukienda kanisa moja. Yeye ni Mkatoliki na mimi ni Mkatoliki, na kila Jumatano Bwana Spika tulikuwa tunaenda kanisani na Bwana Njenti. Tunaiombea roho yake iweze kulala mahali pema peponi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and want to also join the rest of members who had already spoken to pass my condolences to the two great leaders and their families. And Honorable Speaker, it's true that both leaders are great leaders and committed servants of the people of this nation. And I was so privileged to also having interacted closely with both of them. Honorable Speaker, Igeni Lulu, as has been said by the rest of members, is a very committed leader, man of the people, and down to have the... More importantly, Honorable Speaker, you had mentioned, rightfully mentioned, that this man was so passionate about the issue of the village elders, and he sponsored a bill that on national government administration bill, that had intended to look into the welfare of the village elders, have them organized and be enumerated. And Honorable Speaker,
Bukose, dakika moja tu.
Honorable Speaker, I worked with Honorable Cheptumo when I worked in Baringo as a doctor, and also when we joined Parliament here in 2013. He is a gentleman and is somebody be able to consult, and he will be able to give you advice. Honorable Speaker, about a month ago I met him and I looked at his health, which was
actually not doing well. And I want to join the people of Baringo and the people of also Malava, morning both Honorable Senator Jeptumo and Honorable Maluri, who in this house we joined the 13, and he is who has been named and are committed to people and also to the house in general. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
Omundo, Katana, switch off your mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of Lila constituency, let me send my sincere condolences to our departed colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I have served Honorable Njeri since I joined the other term, and Honorable Njeri visited my constituency sometimes in November after the demise of his fund accounts manager, and we shared a lot, and it was a shock to learn that he was unwell, and it was even more shocking to learn that he passed on. Honorable Speaker, on his bill about the village elders, Honorable Speaker, we were involved and unfortunately was asked, and that's what Honorable Tongo wanted to raise, he was asked to drop it, awaiting a comprehensive review. I hope honor, Honorable Tongoi, you will ensure and conclude that process. And with those 4 remarks, I wish the family these hard times. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Emase.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to pay tribute on my own behalf and on behalf of the great people of Teso South to the bereaved families of our 2 departed colleagues. Honorable Speaker, I'm pleased to have with both Cheptumo and Honorable Ijidi in the 11th Parliament and then this 30th Parliament. And Honorable Njindi, we sat on this same row and I had consulted him on use of bills to do with education, and he also consulted me on his budget. But Honorable Speaker, the 2 gentlemen were very humble and dedicated to serving their constituents, and contributions will be great in families and the country at large. At this point, Honorable Speaker, I just want to pray for the bereaved families, the widows, the children, including even the chair of CAPTCHA, who just lost his life in a road accident on behalf of the teacher.
Mwea, Maingi, member from Mwea.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to condole with the people of Malava. I first met the late Honorable Ijendi at Catholic University when he was a registrar and where I studied for my MBA. Mr. Honorable Majedi was a kind-hearted member. He was compassionate, he was caring, he was selfless, he was respected, and he was so uplifting. I had been at the parliament to meet the Honorable Ijendi, and he was also pleasantly surprised. He was a member of Catholic Members Association, and he was a diligent member, very dedicated person.
Thank you, Ngaleche.
Thank you so much, Speaker, on behalf of Bella Marakot and myself. I wish also to convey my condolences to the departed members. Honorable Njendi was a person known to me, and where we interacted and bonded with Njendi is because we are members of CAMSI, and I can say the Catholic Member of Parliament have lost very dedicated member. Honorable Tumonares was a random member and an advisor, especially from our community, whereby most of the members of Parliament, we always go to Chetumo for advice, and he could always give us direction and give us advices. I pray that may their souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Africa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Roysambu people from Nairobi County, Mr. Speaker, allow me also to convey my heartfelt condolences to the 2 bereaved Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we heard about the sickness of Maruru Njendi when he gave his apology at the Naivasha retreat. He so rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're coming to an end. We want to go to something else. Nyakundi, let's see how many are still interested. Many. Nyakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want this opportunity to convey my heartfelt condolences on my own behalf and of Tutu Church North to the family that have died. He is one of the very spoken, good-hearted, and a very simple man. I remember him for always having his neck, and we want to convey our sincere condolences to Honorable Cheptumo. We say pole sana to people on as the UDA party and the Kenya Kwanza coalition. We've lost people of dignity, and we pray and hope that may the souls rest in the peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Chikati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the Secretary General of the Catholic Members Caucus, I would say we have really lost someone who added value to the work of the Catholic MPs. Manu Jendi was very committed in serving Kenyans and was having impacts at the board. He led the caucus, through which he mobilized the resources for the people of Malava. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of Tongaren and the Ford Kenya Party, I want to say pole to the families and may their souls rest in peace.
Kericho Women Rep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to join the members of Parliament to pass message of condolence to the families of our honorable members, Honorable Senator Cheptumo and Honorable Moses Malulu. Mr. Speaker, we have actually lost great legislators, great professionals, great leaders. Honorable Cheptumo being a senator, and from our region, he was a very humble person. He gave great and wise counsel to us. This is a great loss. I pray that the family will be actually comforted. Honorable Malulu, Honorable Speaker, supported the sugarcane farmers. And coming from a region where we have sugarcane, I know we have lost him. I believe great movement in the sugar industry, he was part of it, Honorable Speaker.
Aseka.
I also join my colleagues in eulogizing our departed colleagues. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Jenny, member for Malava, will be remembered as a champion of education in his constituency. He has really supported vulnerable students to access basic education. He has put up infrastructure in schools. He has been a champion of community and also of farmers. On my behalf of that family, of my family, and of the great people of Kuisero, Honorable Speaker, we condole and wish the family well as they mourn this departed hero. Thank you, sir. Speaker.
The very last, Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to add my voice to the condolences that our colleagues have already given. And Honorable Speaker, very sad week, and I'm sure the families are very much affected. Both the family of Honorable Ijendi and Cheptumo. Honorable Speaker, I know both of them from the 20th, and all of them are very dedicated, passionate leaders, great legislators, people who have always been vision enough to lead people. And it is a sad moment for especially the UDA fraternity, and our prayer is with them, and it is my prayer our Lord will comfort the loved ones and the entire Parliament together with our leadership. Thank you. May their soul rest in peace.
Thank you. We'll end up there. For those who have not been able to get a chance, enjoying yourselves with your colleagues who have had an opportunity, and the statement made by and the opportunity to go to church when their services are being held. We are advised that the Honorable Senator Cheptumo will like to rest in Baringo on the 1st of March, and the Honorable Malulu Njendi in Malava on the 4th of March. And I'm sure there will be red masses in Nairobi where we'll have an opportunity. Many also visit the various residences. We condole with the families, as we have said. Allow me to acknowledge the following: the Speaker's Public Gallery, Baretti Scholars, Global and Travel. Okay, they were there. University of Eldoret, students from Moiben in Wasishu. Welcome them in the House of Parliament, and if they have left, I'm sure they are present. We now go, if you look at your supplemental paper, with a special motion co-sponsored by the majority leader and the minority leader. Can somebody look for the majority leader and invite him to move the motion? And I hope Junaid is in the house for them to. Yeah. Majority leader, is now an opportunity for you to the special motion, subject to availability of interest motion. I want to allocate it 2 hours. So we'll at 6:20, 6:30.
Order number 8, the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, number 2 of 2025, first reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for the additional allocations to county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year. The responsibilities of national government and county governments put to such allocation and for connected purposes. Order number 9, exceptional motion, recording the thanks of the House on Kenya's at the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, AC.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to move this on recording the thanks of the House on Kenya's attempts at the position of person of the African Union Commission. This is a co-sponsored motion by myself and the leader of minority. Now, recalling that the African Union, the successor of the African Unity, was launched in the year 2002 as a continental body consisting of the 55 that make up the countries of the continent, with the vision of creating an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa, driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic in the global arena. And aware the African Union was established as the site responsible for the day-to-day operations and activities of the African Union, is headed by the chairperson elected by the head state and member state. And further recalling that on the 27th February 2024, Kenya formally announced that the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, EGH, would be vying for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, building on civil service as the African Union Special Envoy for Infrastructure Development in Africa from the year 2018 to 2023. Appreciating that in recognition of the immense Pan-African ideals embodied in the candidacy of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, his dedication and leadership in advancing the cause of the African continent through various initiatives and positions all over the years, including his previous service as African Union Special Envoy for Infrastructure Development in Africa from the 2018 to 2023, His Excellency the President Raila Odinga as Kenya's candidate, person of the African Union Mission. Right Honorable Raila Odinga's candidacy for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission was not only his personal ambition, but also as a symbol of Kenya's deep commitment to the goals of the African Union and its desire to actively participate in shaping the continent's future. Commending the government of Kenya, led by His Excellency the President William Ruto, for the Pan-African campaign in support of the Right Honorable Odinga, reinforced by Kenya's commitment to regional and continental and cooperation and guided by Kenya's foreign policy. Further commending the remarkable achievement by the Right Honorable Odinga for emerging the run-up in the election of the chairperson of the African Union Commission on 2025 in Addis Ababa. Recognizing the need in Kenya's growing prominence on the continental stage and advocacy for a more united, prosperous, and self-reliant Africa in resonance with the aspirations of Africans across the continent who seek to see the continent empowered to chart their own course in the global arena. Now therefore, Honorable Speaker of this House, its thanks to His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, CGH President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense of the Republic of Kenya, for endorsing the Right Raila Odinga, EGH, as Kenya's candidate for election as the chairperson of the African Union Commission, AUC, leading the continent campaign in support of his candidate. To the House express profound thanks the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, EGH, for demonstrating unwavering commitment to the service of Africa, offering himself as candidate for election of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, for his leadership in advancing Pan-African unity, for his dedication to the development and integration of the African continent, a distinguished attempt action in which he emerged as a runners-up. And three, this has recognized congratulations to His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf for his election as the chairperson of the African Union Commission on Saturday 15 February 2025. Mr. Speaker, it's a long motion, Honorable Speaker, but we are seeking to do three things, Honorable Speaker. One, to record our thanks to the President for his dedicated support and his vigorous campaign across the continent for the candidacy of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga as the chairperson of the AUC Commission. Two, is to commit and express our thanks as a House and on behalf of Kenyan people to His Excellency the Right Odinga, AGH, for demonstrating that unwavering commitment to the service of the African continent. Honorable Speaker, it can't say it enough that the dedication with which we saw the Right Honorable Prime Minister and His Excellency President William Ruto work together throughout the campaign, and not to fail to mention our dedicated foreign mission officers at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by the Prince Secretary Queen and His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary Mr. who dedicated immense time and resources across the continent in campaigning for the candidacy of the Right Honorable Odinga. Honorable Speaker, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Odinga needs no introduction to anybody on the continent. He is one whose ideas as a Pan-Africanist need no introduction in the continent, and indeed we must take this also to thank the very nation across the continent that could not be the nation public of his country, but so with the Honorable Raila Odinga, the Pan-Africanist par excellence in the campaigns and the election in Advocate. Honorable Speaker, let me also take this opportunity. I congratulate this election, Honorable Mahmoud, who is also a good African from our country. As we congratulate him, Honorable Speaker, I cannot fail to note with immense gratitude again to Prime Minister Raila Odinga that as much as he was leading all through, especially the first, second, and the third vote, at a time when he was leading to the sixth vote, he opted in spirit of Africanism not to take that assembly through another round of campaigning and elections, because the Right Honorable Raila Odinga had the choice to fight on, and because there were many people who were supporting him, then our brother Mohammed Yusuf probably would not have gotten the 2/3, but the former Prime Minister opted of taking Africa through the rigors of another few months to get into another campaigning season. He opted to allow the Assembly to go ahead and vote and see if the person who was leading them that round achieved the 2/3 that was required for the chairperson seat. And now Ali Yusuf Mohammed was elected as the chairperson of AUC. Therefore, I want to thank the Right Honorable Prime Minister for commitment, for education, for that spirit of Pan-Africanism, showing that Africa and our unity as a continent is paramount, and put Africa and Africanism ahead of personal and put the interest of the continent and the unity of the continent ahead of his interest. And it is commendable. That is the spirit in competition that there will be a winner who leave Addis Ababa as a loser. He left Addis Ababa as a winner who has exemplified his leadership in the African continent and in the world. Another Speaker, we commend it. We note our thanks as a House and on behalf of all the Kenyan people to the Right Honorable Prime Minister for that commitment to the African nation. I want to encourage him to continue serving not just Kenya but the African continent and the world with the same commitment and dedication that he has shown over the years, Honorable Speaker. The Right Prime Minister, Honorable Speaker, you know, is not just a Kenyan leader, is a continental leader, as we have said in this motion. He has served in continental bodies. I know in the future he could even serve in world bodies, Honorable Speaker, because the world needs his experience, the world needs his ideals and his leadership. As in this country, Honorable Speaker, he continues to serve us and the world, and we wish him, Honorable Mohammed Yusuf, in his service. Let him understand that we are all competitive alone, and the people of Kenya remain committed to the ideals of the African Union and the integration of the African continent as one united continent. Honorable Speaker, SADC, EAC, all these regional bodies seek to integrate. As we said with the EAC states, we are not widening, deepening, and turning option this region, but we seek to deepen, widen, and tighten the integration of all these bodies under the African Union and the people of Yusuf, but also with the support of Pan-Africanists and great leaders like Raila, and of course the able leadership of President Ruto, the chairperson of the EAC, the South African Community, Speaker, and has a role in the reform agenda of African Union. And we look forward to working together with Prime Minister Odinga, Chairman Mohammed Yusuf, and President William Ruto as we seek to reform the African Union. And I want to believe, Honorable Speaker, under the leadership of President William Ruto and rest to other great leaders, AU will be reformed to a body organization that addresses the needs, aspirations of all African people, Honorable Speaker, so that when we speak as one people. Honorable Speaker,
some years back, Africa was seen as a document of today, the world, everybody appreciates that Africa is the continent of the future, the present and the future. The resources, the expertise we have in this continent, the human capital we have in this continent, I will not be surprised if in the years to come, we will see as a great African leader, Barack Obama leading countries as being powerful United States of America. We have many today, including the army from Nyamira, who is now a senator in one of the state assemblies in the U.S. We have seen congressmen and women in the U.S. become senators in the U.S. of America because Africa is the future of the world. All Africa with the resources and human capital and population in the Americas, in the West, in Asia, and the Far East, emerging and very productive and very well-educated youth. We are here to conquer the world, and we can only conquer the world under the able leadership of leaders like Raila Odinga, with this Pan-African spirit, with the able guidance of leaders like Mohamed Yusuf, who is now our chairperson, and support of all African presidents. And we must respect this President Speaker. And in conclusion, Speaker, as I ask the leader of minority to second, allow me also to use this opportunity to express the disgust of this House on the actions and the words of one of us, the member for Juja, the Honorable Koimbori. Honorable Speaker, as much as the police have taken action, and I do hope they will be able to charge the member of Juja, Honorable Speaker, even within our own standing orders, we have put a not disparage or discuss a foreign president, especially a president of a foreign country. For the member for Juja uttered the unfortunate and careless words that he uttered over the weekend. And shameless, Honorable Speaker, in a church, in a pulpit, saying that other African leaders were being bribed, Honorable Speaker. Not for Juja should know that Prime Minister Raila did not run for chairmanship of under Ruto. Prime Minister Raila chose to run as chairperson of AUC, of the African Union Commission, on his own volition, because he is a Kenyan and African statesman who deserved that position. President Ruto did not choose to support Prime Minister Raila because he's competing in the last elections, or because they have served in ODM together. You know, President Ruto is a founder member of ODM. He chose to support Prime Minister as a deserving Kenyan African statesman. The president's ministers voted for Raila Odinga to be chairperson. Did not do it at the instigation or because they were influenced by anybody. Honorable Speaker, we must at the same time discuss by the actions of the government who claimed that the Republic of Kenya had spent 13 billion shillings. From where? Money not appropriated, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are some of these members of parliament who are even never in the house. So isn't even appropriated. He is probably in a police station and I don't care. Someone asking me, Honorable Speaker, where he is. Honorable Speaker, I want to propose the member for Juja named for this house because it's a bad habit he has formed. A very bad habit. You recall last year, the same member who was for the finance bill, he claimed that they were being paid, I think, 1,000 shillings to vote the finance bill. 2 million shillings. 2 million shillings. Honorable Speaker, in the House of magnanimity, we chose to forgive him. When the impeachment motion, they then went to somewhere where, you know, he's fond of following some other man there, in funerals. He had to and claim that members again were paid the impeachment motion. Over 280 members, 282 members voted the impeachment motion. He could have been paid. And he made his figures from his head. And you see the person who follows in funerals repeating the same things, and that's how you know they are family together. Honorable Speaker, now he has moved from members of parliament on the finance bill, impeachment motion, to heads of state of friendly countries. We cannot and we must not allow that kind of habit to take root in this house, and we must take action. And I want to invite us. Somebody must move a motion or should move a motion to name this member. So that tomorrow, this is what makes this house, Honorable Speaker, be treated with a lot of contempt and indignity because of the things that we say, not now of just our house. We have taken it outside to speak, say disparaging things about our country, disparaging things about presidents and heads of state.